Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of completing the WGU Computer Science degree. My name is Ryan and this is episode 13. In this episode, I will be walking you guys through on the different courses that I've completed and how progress has been so far. So right now I'm down to my last two courses. Um, I've completed, I think, software quality assurance, um, artificial intelligence, and project management um, applications. So those three courses are each kind of unique in their own way, but I'm kind of glad that they're done because each one was kind of had their own tricks to sort of passing it, and I think it'd be useful to kind of share those tips along with you guys when you do take them. Um, just in the past 2 months, it has been kind of busy. Like I've had a lot of things happening in like my social life that has kind of slowed down my progress. And I think additionally the fact that I have like a lot of months to complete this term with so few courses has kind of made me a little bit lazier than usual. So I am kind of back in gear and just completing as many courses as I can because it's better to finish early than to kind of like finish late or very close to my end of the term. So I'm just kind of keeping that in perspective, and um, and yeah, I'll just kind of share my screen and show how these courses were passed. Okay, so I'll log in here, and we are doing pretty good. So these are my last two courses, Computer Science Capstone and Structured Query Language. I think I'm going to do the capstone first, only because I've heard from my instructor that this is a lot easier to do. It's kind of like just writing an essay and writing a program that you're interested in, versus structured query language, which I've heard from my mentor that a lot of people are failing it and complaining about its structure. So I think I might just leave that for the last course, just in case of some updates happen that'll improve the format. Um, the course that I completed was Intro to Artificial Intelligence, about halfway completed on my last video, and this course is honestly pretty easy. I kind of explained how the chatbot works, and the second task was the robotics bot, which I will try and find on my desktop. Rebel scene. Okay, yeah, I still do have it. So um, this is the scene that I created that will showcase my robot in action. It's honestly super simple. So um, although it looks kind of intimidating to see how everything's working together, it's actually like one of the most simple things in the program. You just press play, and my bot has two sensors on it that detect when it collides with an object. So if the right sensor collides with an object, it'll rotate left, and if the left sensor collides with an object, it'll rotate right. So we can see the bot in action with the left sensor moving, and the right sensor will rotate this. The left sensor will rotate this right, and the bot just keeps on moving. And what this scenario is supposed to simulate is a sort of disaster recovery effort where the bot has to kind of navigate a course to kind of find like survivors and stuff. So I just kind of created my own little survivor over here, kind of just sitting there in the rubble, and eventually the robot will find him with the large sensor detecting any possible survivors. So once the robot finds this guy, it'll kind of just stop moving, and that'll be that'll be the entire project. Boom. So let's see. So that's the path that the robot traveled, and we can see the all the objects in the scene that make up the robot over here, the survivor, and the different rebels. So that was that. Honestly, pretty easy. And the robot is actually already pre-built in another module, so you can just copy that code. And I think I think that's pretty much that. So I submitted that, and it passed on the first try, and that honestly took me about maybe 2 days max. So that was pretty good. And the next thing that I did after that was Business of IT Applications. So this course is honestly super easy the uh, if the steps that I kind of outline are kind of followed. All you got to do to pass this course is just like completely ignore the U certified course material. Like don't use that material because it has so much excess information that's not actually being tested. The way to pass Business of IT Applications is first you watch all the videos that are kind of like talking about the ITIL exam, and you can either take notes while watching the video or you can use notes that someone else has posted. And the second thing you do is you do all of the quizzes posted on Kaplan and then all of the quizzes posted on the ITIL app. And if you do all of those quizzes, you will pretty much know about 90% of the exam. Like 90% of all the possible material that can come up on the exam will already be kind of like tested. So I passed the exam with a pretty good score. I think it was like 90-ish. So that was that. And that honestly took me 2 weeks because I kind of had a lot of stuff going on in the background. But this could actually be complete in like 3 to 4 days if just like completely focusing on completing like the hundreds of multiple choice questions. Like there's hundreds of them out there, but it just makes life so much easier because the ITIL exam copies like those same multiple choice questions um, and the material and the structure of them. So doing that will complete the course pretty quickly. And the course that I just completed most recently, I think 2 days ago, was, oh man, structured query, not structured query language, software quality assurance. Software quality assurance is like the funky course. That is going to be the course that'll make or break some people at WGU. It's definitely funky. It's got so weird of a structure to actually study all the material that there's almost like it's almost like solving a jigsaw puzzle, you know, solving some sort of Rubik's cube. You gotta piece all the different pieces of material and then pass the multiple choice exam with a 70% or higher. So in software quality assurance, what I did was I drilled really, really deep into all the material that everyone has been posting. So you have people posting tips in the chatter. You have course instructors emailing you. You have more links in the course tips. And then you have people posting on Reddit and Slack and all these different sort of locations about software quality assurance. And what I did was I compiled a list of all the material that people are talking about, and I went through them like one by one. I made sure to kind of focus on the quizzes first, then I focus on the readings and the labs next, and then finally I focus on like the external links and any other quizzes and notes I could possibly find. So I went from quizzes, readings to external links. And what I found out was that sort of process of focusing on the quizzes first rather than just doing all the readings first gave me the opportunity to kind of pick up on like really minuscule details about how the exam is structured and what kind of material to look at for in the material. If I had done the readings first and then I had done the external links second and then I did the quizzes last, I would actually be handicapped because I might have been paying attention to stuff in the material that wouldn't actually be tested on the quiz. So I do highly recommend reverse from the ITIL exam to actually just do the quizzes straight off the bat for software quality assurance. And I think there's got to be over like 300 to 400 multiple choice questions of quizzes that exist out there, either on Quizlet or from the instructor material. So that stuff, all of it has to get done. And the reason why is because I only passed with 77% after doing all of that work in less than a week. And I was like, wow, this exam has got a lot of really specific information and a lot of ways to answer incorrectly. It's just like bizarre how many trick questions there were on that exam. So I would say, yeah, definitely know the material and definitely also complete the material quickly. If you spend 1 month doing software quality assurance, you'll forget like half the material memorized because the things that they test on the exam are like so specific. You have to like read all the material within like a couple days and then take the exam. That way you can still like remember the ambiguous and superfine details. So that is my recommendation for software quality assurance. And I do have that in the course chatter as well, so in case I kind of forget from the video. And that kind of brings me into today. So right now I have about 2.5 months left, and I've already done like my sort of graduation ceremony, and it was all right. I've met some fairly interesting people, and really there's nothing left to do besides just complete these last 2 courses. With Thanksgiving coming up, I think that it would be probably best if I just knock out the capstone first, and then after the capstone, I could do the structured query language, and hopefully, hopefully they do change the course, because I do not want to have to spend like 1 month of intense studying just to pass a course that is probably already a little bit broken in the system. And yeah, that is my progress at WGU so far. Outside of WGU, I am thinking of like making some big plays. So there are several software careers, software engineering careers that are taking off right now, and they are growing exponentially in demand every single year, and their supply is exponentially like not moving at all. The supply of this one particular field is almost completely constant. It's so tiny, but the demand is like exponentially growing. So I might think of going into that sort of pathway. Just something I'm thinking about. I'm also considering doing some sort of programming interview practice for the upcoming spring, where I would be actually maybe looking for a summer internship. That would be great to go along with my master's and kind of supplement the learning material. And as for the Georgia Tech online masters, I am not exactly 100% sure what first class I want to take. I am thinking of probably taking the computer vision and machine learning for trading classes. Those two are some like really easy classes, but I've heard that most people's experience at Georgia Tech is actually like the first semester will probably be your hardest in the entire program, because you gotta like adjust to their format. So I might just pick like 2 really easy classes and kind of move forward from there. And registration will open around January 2nd. So I'm going to be like the last to register. And work's good, personal life is good, and it's pretty much simple. I live a very simple life. And yeah, that's pretty much that for this video. Pretty direct, pretty straightforward. I do want to also say that my capstone will probably be something related to like options and sort of stock trading, because I've been kind of looking at like the different numbers for options and how it's like calculated. And I'm thinking that it might be a cool program to like be able sort of analyze options from like an algorithmic standpoint, kind of like do math in Python rather than like in Excel. So I might take some experimentation on that for my capstone. But yep, that is that for this past month, and I'll probably see you in my next video, where I will either be complete with the first course, which is the capstone course, or both of them, which is capstone and structured query language. And I'll see you then.